Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Well, as you can see, the girls are getting bigger and we are not having much time to go fishing, but nevertheless, TV still managed to squeeze a session in, so...
I did, and I managed some King George and some squid as well. Girls loving it.
Oh, they absolutely adore the King George whiting.
But today's episode is actually about deep dropping. We're going to just do a quick run, well, trying not to show you that deep dropping is not rocket science and that anybody can do it. So it is important to have those electric reels, especially when you chase tuna like we did. You go Portland, you chase tuna, you're going to Horseshoe, to the King, 50k out, and of course, there is no tuna, there was no albacore, so we had plan B, and plan B was deep dropping. Will, actually, it was his birthday, David was with me. Will's cousin Ray bought Will his first electric reel. Quite expensive present, and I need a cousin like that. But Mick from Hooked on Bait and Tackle set him up with a beautiful setup, and we had to christen the rod and reel. So we're going to show you the first video on how everything started, and we're going to actually keep going and explain what we use, the way we use, what's going on, and just show you that actually it's not a big deal. You can do it. So let's watch the first video. Well, this adventure is from May 2025, and we're in Portland in search for barrels. In the past 2 weeks, there were quite a few big fish coming in, like 100 plus kilos, but not enough numbers. I would say there would be 40 boats out there, one fish gets caught. So you have to be lucky. As we left Portland Harbour, we actually saw a few birds and quite a few things happening just before the Lawrence Rock. So we decided to give it a go. About 2 years ago, same time in May, we lost here a massive fish. Considering that we saw things on the sounder, we saw actually birds flying and diving, we saw things jumping, there was no reason for us not to give it a go. We'll set up all the rods and we started trawling. The birds were flying from left to right, they were actually dipping in the water, they were diving. It was kind of promising, but nothing jumped on our hook. We gave it a good half an hour in this area, but no luck at all. We've seen a lot of promising things, but it was just not happening. Beside the birds, we saw seals, we saw dolphins jumping, but unfortunately no tuna. Well, it was time to move, and this time we moved towards Lady Percy in 60-meter depth, where we knew that the previous days was quite a few fish caught. Once we got there, there was actually quite a few boats in that area. So we started trolling again. We decided to give it another half an hour here as well. We've been observing what other boats doing, and again, we've seen them just driving around but no action at all. Considering that the weather prediction was that everything is gonna go down in the afternoon, we decided to go all the way to the King and see if there is any albacore. In my videos from few years before,
May and June, we always found some albacore at the shelf. So the king was our next stop. It's a long way there, but it was worth a try. We searched the area and no tuna, no albacore, so we decided to deep drop. Now, Will just got himself a brand new rod and reel. Actually, no, he got it as a present from his cousin Ray, and yeah, we needed to christen this rod and reel. So once we got there, we start setting up, putting everything out, and it's a waiting game. Then on his first drop, he got a nibble, and that was it. I told him that is all you're gonna get at 600 meter depth. So he started winding back. David took the camera and started filming. I got the gaff ready, and we were curious to find out what he's going to get. Believe it or not, on his first drop, he got himself a little gemfish. That was unreal. He was more than happy, as that's his first time he was deep dropping. At first, when we talked about deep dropping and this kind of fishing, well, everybody kind of considered boring. But I tell you what, it's not, because you never know what you're gonna get.
Well, first drop and Bill was already on a fish. Yes, it was a small gemfish, but who cares? It was his first deep dropping fish, so...
And he was excited. He was really excited. Well, quickly, let's run through a couple things. Now, number one, that's actually a bag from Lone Star Marine that I keep my deep dropping reel in. And this setup just goes in my cabin, sits there. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, bad luck, but it's protected. Now, spending, you know, a bit of dollars on the electric reel, and that you want to protect it as much as you can. Next, this is the actual Tag'em rod that Mick recommended, which is awesome rod. And this is my Shimano Beastmaster. Will's got a Beastmaster as well. And I got an actually very, very popular as well, Daiwa Tanacom 1200. Now, Daiwa Tanacom, it's a kind of standard in this industry. Because the most important part, it's you want to put 50 minimum IT bride, pounds bride on the actual reel. Now, you need to have minimum 100 to 1,000 meters. Now, then I actually myself, you want to hold on to this for a second? I do a leader. I do a leader like I do with the tuna, and my leader is about 150 pounds, and that's an FG knot to the bride. My leader is about 6 meters long, just because these reels get programmed when they come back, and you lift obviously 400-500 meters. When they come to the last 10 meters, the reel stops. So the electric part actually breaks, and you have to use the handle and bring it in yourself. The next very important thing is your battery. And in today's days, this is what they downgrade, well, downsize. They didn't downgrade, they upgrade, but they don't downsize. So if you get one of these lithium batteries, make sure they're about 10,000 milliamps. Because, yeah, you need a lot of power. Back in the days, you carry 50, 60 kilo extra. Today, you can carry one of these. And out of one of these, we had nearly all day deep dropping. Depends of the fish. If you're going to get a big fish and she needs to put a lot of power, you may have 20 drops. But if you're only getting gemfish or bits and pieces, that'll be plenty. If you run out, you can always plug your reel to your main battery, to your boat battery, but make sure the boat's running. So that way it's charging, alternator is charging so you don't run out of power. Next thing is obviously, as we mentioned, we got just a swivel. So we got our leader, we got a swivel, and on this swivel, we attach, if I can open it up, we attach our rig. Our rig is very simple. You can buy pre-made rigs. You want to hold on to this? And it is a simple paternoster rig, but it is specially made for deep dropping. It is actually, you can see the swivels and the actual crimps that they got here. And it does go to, I think, 400 pounds. So it's important to have a good rig, because Will actually came up with 80 pounds or something and lost his sinker straight away. By the time he hit down, caught up a little bit on the gravel or something at the bottom there, and he lost his sinker straight away. Hooks, definitely circle hooks, and all it is, bit of pilchard, bit of yakka, slimy mackerel, works. Now, one more thing that we do use is a light. This particular light, once it hits the water, she gets illuminating. These fluoro pipes, whatever you want to call them, they actually shine in the water, because talking 600 meters depth, there's no light there. It's actually pitch black. So that's everything that we use. The only other important stuff, it's our sinker, and we're going to talk about the sinker after the next clip.
It does take a while for the reel to retrieve all that line, but we got the fish, and there it is, our first fish on the boat and Will's first deep dropping fish. It is a small gemfish, but this fish tastes really, really good. They are actually absolutely beautiful to eat. So it was time for a quick photo and then keep going. If you take a closer look, you can see that Will lost his sinker. The reason for that was that his rig was too light. When you deep drop, you need at least 80 pound leader, but most of the rigs got to 150, even 200. On the other side, I got another gemfish. So far, everything was promising. Also, as you can see, the sea actually came down a little bit compared how it was when we left actually Portland. After the second gemfish, a big pause. Everything got slow. We've done a few moves. We actually went over and over the same spot, but nothing was happening. We got ripped off a few times as well, and usually that happens when those little green eye sharks are around. Those things are scavengers. They'll clean up your hooks in no time. Sometime in about 2-hour session, we get 10 of those green eye sharks. But what do you do? It's part of fishing. Also, another thing to do when you're out here is mix up your bait. Put some squid on it, put some fillet of fish, put a chunks of fish. Sometimes we put the whole head or half a mackerel, and yeah, just improvise. Well, finally, after about an hour of nothing happening, Will gets a fish. Now, this fish was acting a little bit different than the previous gemfish, so we were expecting to be a blue eye or who knows, something different. Saying that, the other rod went off as well, so we had to retrieve both of them at the same time. What we didn't realize at this stage is that these two rods cross. So the lines were crossed, and I think we were in a little bit of a trouble. Then by the shakes, looked like we got a snapper on, which was weird. But yeah, usually at this depth we get some queen snapper or jackass morong, and when it came closer, that was it. But because the lines were tangled, we had to stop and try and reach him all the way there. So I grabbed the gaff, and guess what? I dropped the fish.
Well, as you saw, You never know what you're gonna get down there, but whatever you're getting, it's actually quite exciting.
It is very exciting and it's fun. It is fun. Now, besides fun, they're awesome fish to eat. So you can't, it's A-class.
I love it.
Now, let's talk about sinkers. So, minimum, I would suggest 1 kilo. Really, 600 to 800 meters, we use the 2 kilo sinker. Now, why is that? Especially if you got a bit of a drift. If you got a bit of a drift, you want to use 2 kilo even in 300 meters because you want to drop it, go straight down, and the sooner it comes down, you know, you may have 20, 30 meters extra line.
Yeah.
So if you're on 400 meters, let's say, depth, and you put 1 kilo sinker, once by the time it gets down, that 1 kilo is about 300 meters that way, behind you. And that adds, obviously, you're gonna see your reel, it's on 700 meters, which should be only 400 meter depth.
Yeah. Well, let's watch the next video.
Well, as you've seen before, we don't land every single fish. Sometimes we lose them. For the next 15 minutes, we were trying to untangle all the mess we made. So slowly Dave was actually in charge of that. We managed to actually pull the things apart and we were ready to keep going. Another thing worth to mention, if you decide to come all the way here, try and get some fresh bait. That was one rule that we didn't apply today, so we had to use some old bait, old mackerel, old yakkers, and they fall off the hook a little bit too easy. Anyway, we reloaded, we dropped them back to the bottom, and now it's a waiting game again. Pretty quick we had another nibble, and we didn't get that on the camera, but what happened is halfway through it felt a little bit funny, so we decided we're gonna bring it up by hand. Because the whole rod and everything felt funny. It felt like we hooked up on the Telstra cable and we're bringing it up. What actually happened, we had a school shark which was tangled into the leader, and when we were bringing it up, we were bringing it sideways. Well, for me, that's my first school shark that I bring from 500 meter depth. Normally I get them in 80 to 100 meters out of Portland or Port Fairy, but 500 to 600 meters, well, I wasn't expecting this. Anyway, we are not complaining because there is actually a beautiful piece of lake right there. And Will, Dave and myself, we were very happy. We tried a little bit longer, we got a couple more of those funny green eye sharks, but we decided it's time to go. On the way back, plenty dolphins, a lot of bait fish, and when we casted into that bait fish, it was kuta. Anyway, we had a bit of fun with them. David was plucking them like not tomorrow, but after a while, it was time to go. We had one very important thing to do, and that is to get to the pub and have some steak.
Well, to conclude, deep dropping fishing, it's not rocket science, and it's a lots of fun. You never know what you're going to get, and you really should give it a go.
Well, to conclude, what you have to remember, electric reel, that will take about 800 to 1,000 meters line. Obviously, 2 kilo sinker, a paternoster rig that you can buy, specially made for deep dropping, because they are 300 or 400 pound line, and the rest is easy.
Considering that the weather was not too bad on Sunday, I decided to take the little poly and run for a quick fish. I went straight in front of Leopold, in front of the caravan park, 3 to 4 meters depth, and obviously I set up the cameras, put the burley bucket down and start fishing. Unfortunately, I think I got about 40 fish, but one keeper. And that one keeper, you'll see it came just before dark. It took about 10 minutes of nothing, and then bang, one of the rod takes off. Small fish. As I threw that one back, straight away another fish, and then another fish, and it kept going. But again, all small fish. They were about 28 to 30 centimeters, but just no meat on them. Very, very skinny fish. Saying that, underneath on my camera, absolutely nothing. I didn't see even a Benja shark. Anyway, the small fish kept going on and on. I was just having fun, picking them up, throwing them back, and then finally, just before dark, one of the other rods takes off, and that was a keeper. That was the only first and only keeper for the day. I did measure this fish, and it was just 1 centimeter short of 40. But still it was a little bit skinny compared to the ones that we get at Queenscliff and St Leonard's at the moment.
Hey guys, I'll just give you a quick run around on what's happening out there in the bay at the moment. The weather has been making it a little challenging at the moment. We've seen some good whiting still in that St Leonard's area. A little bit skittish, but they are there in reasonable numbers. Fresh squid has been the key to success. Otherwise, you can certainly use your pippies and mussels as well. There's also a few fish moving around in Clifton Springs, but they're in and out at the moment. Shallow water, plenty of burley, and keep moving around until you find them. Snapper-wise, been a little bit slower. There's been some good pinkies in the shallow reef still, especially up here in the Williamstown and Altona areas. They're just size fish up to about 40 centimetres, require a good amount of burley, but well worth chasing until the weather breaks. Along the surf coast, we've had some excellent salmon fishing. However, we've had some big king tides this last week or so the gutters will have changed a little bit, so it's a matter of getting out there and just searching along the beaches. But Eastern View, Moggs Creek, Anglesea have been producing some good quality fish, that 1.5 kilo sort of size, which has been fantastic to see. Offshore on the tuna, look, there's some good tuna floating around. They are hard work, and we are travelling lots of K, so be persistent, patient with it. It will improve as this weather settles, but just get out there, do the Ks, keep searching, and you will be rewarded with a fish. Thanks, guys.
Guys, thanks again for watching. People that purchase our t-shirt, our hoodies, thank you heaps for your support.
And once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the like button, comment, and we will see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.